The waitress saw her childhood photo in the Millionaire'S wallet at a party and froze. Emma Caldwell's feet ached as she balanced another tray of champagne flutes. 5 hours into her shift, the thin soles of her black service shoes did little to cushion against the marble floors of Davenport Mansion. But complaining wouldn't pay her rent. "More champagne to the East Terrace, quickly," barked Mrs. Reynolds, the catering supervisor, shooing Emma toward French doors that opened onto a view of Charleston Harbor bathed in twilight. Emma weaved through clusters of designer gowns and tailored tuxedos. To these people, she might as well be invisible. Just another pair of hands ensuring their glasses stayed full. At 32, she'd perfected the art of efficient movement through crowds who never bothered to step aside. "Excuse me," she murmured, though no one acknowledged her. The East Terrace glittered with string lights. The autumn air carried just enough chill to make the women pull their wraps closer, while pretending they weren't cold in their sleeveless dresses. Emma approached a group of older men discussing stock portfolios, offering her tray with a practiced smile. "The Davenports certainly know how to throw a party," one silver-haired man said as he took a glass. "Williams' hotel expansions have been extraordinary this year." "The man's a genius," agreed another. "Despite everything he's been through." Emma moved on, catching snippets of conversation as she circulated. The Davenport name commanded respect in Charleston. Old money, old power. Their family had survived the Civil War, the Depression, and emerged stronger each time. The current patriarch, William Davenport, owned hotel chains across the southeastern United States. As Emma rounded a marble column, she nearly collided with a tall, distinguished man. His silver hair was immaculately styled, his posture ramrod straight, despite being in his 60s. William Davenport himself. "I'm so sorry, sir," Emma said, steadying her tray. William waved off her apology with a distracted smile. He reached into his jacket pocket for his phone, but instead pulled out a leather wallet that slipped from his fingers. Landing with a soft thud on the terrace floor, Emma immediately knelt to retrieve it. The wallet had fallen open, and as she picked it up, a photograph slid partially out of its sleeve. She was about to tuck it back when the image froze her in place. A little girl, perhaps 4 years old, sat on a wooden swing. Her chestnut hair caught the sunlight, and she smiled with unbridled joy. Behind her, a field of sunflowers stretched toward the horizon. Their golden faces turned skyward. The girl wore a white dress with a blue sash. Emma's hand trembled. The child could have been her. Same honey-colored eyes, same dimple in her right cheek. She even had the same small birthmark near her left eyebrow, a tiny crescent that Emma saw in her mirror every morning. "Miss, my wallet. Please." William's voice seemed to come from far away. Emma looked up, still clutching the wallet, her face drained of color. "I'm sorry, She gestured helplessly at the photo. "This little girl." William crouched beside her, his expression changing from mild annoyance to curiosity. As he took the wallet, their eyes met. The same honey-colored eyes as in the photograph, as her own. Something flashed across his face. Recognition, confusion. It vanished so quickly Emma couldn't be sure. The moment shattered as Emma's tray tilted, sending champagne flutes crashing onto the terrace. The sound of breaking glass drew all eyes to them. Emma scrambled to pick up the shards, mortified. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Davenport. I don't know what." "Leave it," William said quietly. "The staff will handle it." He stood, pocketing his wallet with a hand that wasn't quite steady. Without another word, he turned and walked away, leaving Emma kneeling amid broken glass. "Caldwell, what on earth?" Mrs. Reynolds hurried over, her face pinched with anger. "That's coming out of your pay." Emma barely heard her. She couldn't shake the image of the little girl. Her hands moved automatically, gathering glass shards onto a napkin. From across the terrace, a pair of ice-blue eyes observed the scene with calculating interest. Victoria Davenport, William's younger sister, sipped her martini slowly. Her sleek silver bob framed a face that had been carefully maintained by Charleston's most exclusive plastic surgeons. At 55, she could pass for 45, at least in the right lighting. Victoria watched her brother retreat inside, then shifted her gaze to the clumsy waitress. Something about the exchange bothered her. William seemed unsettled. "Problem with the help?" asked Bradford Wells, a banking executive who'd been trying to engage Victoria in conversation for the past 10 minutes. Nothing worth discussing, Victoria replied coolly. Excuse me, Bradford. I need to check on something. Inside, William stood alone in his study, the photograph from his wallet now in his hand. 30 years of carrying this picture, of searching, hoping, and ultimately accepting that his Clara was gone forever. Yet for a moment on that terrace, he'd felt a jolt of, what? The waitress had just reminded him of Eleanor. That was all. His late wife's features sometimes appeared in the most unexpected places. Back on the terrace, Emma finished cleaning up her mess and retreated to the kitchen, her mind racing. She'd been abandoned at Greenwood Children's Home in March 1993. No name except Emma pinned to her blanket. No birth certificate. No history. That night, after her shift ended, Emma returned to her small apartment in a converted Victorian house on the unfashionable side of Charleston. The building had charm but little else. Water stains mapped the ceiling, and the radiator clanked all night. Still, it was hers, paid for by years of double shifts and careful saving. She kicked off her painful shoes and collapsed onto her threadbare sofa. Pulling out her phone, she found herself typing William Davenport Charleston into the search bar. Hundreds of results appeared. News articles about hotel openings, charity galas, business acquisitions. And then, buried in the results from years ago, a headline caught her eye. Davenport heir still missing after 5 years. Emma clicked on the article, her heart pounding. William and Eleanor Davenport continue their search for their daughter, Clara, who disappeared in 1993 at age 4. Mrs. Davenport died shortly after in a car accident. But Mr. Davenport has never given up hope. Emma stared at the grainy newspaper photo accompanying the article. A man and woman stood before a field of sunflowers, the same field from the wallet photograph. Between them, a little girl with chestnut hair and honey-colored eyes. A little girl who could have been her. The Greenwood Children's Home hadn't changed much in 28 years. The red brick building still looked like what it had once been. A school for wealthy girls before the Great Depression turned it into a repository for Charleston's unwanted children. Emma stood at the wrought iron gates, her stomach knotted with anticipation. She'd called in sick to her regular waitressing job at Rosie's Diner. Missing a day's wages hurt. But after discovering that article last night, sleep had been impossible. The coincidences were too striking to ignore. The timing, the physical resemblance. Even the sunflowers. It all pointed to a connection she couldn't yet explain. "You gonna stand there all day, honey?" A gravelly female voice broke through Emma's thoughts. Martha Jenkins, the orphanage's longtime administrative assistant, stood in the doorway smoking a cigarette. At 70-something, she was as much a fixture here as the oak tree in the yard. Her gray hair was pulled into the same severe bun Emma remembered from childhood. "Martha, it's me, Emma Caldwell." The older woman squinted, then broke into a wide smile. "Well, I'll be little Emma, all grown up." She crushed her cigarette under a worn loafer. "What brings you back to this old place?" "I need to look at my file," Emma said, walking through the gate. "I'm trying to find out more about where I came from." Martha's smile faltered. "Honey, you know there wasn't much in your file, just that note." "I know, but I need to see it again. Please." Inside, the building smelled exactly as Emma remembered. Floor polish and institutional cooking. Children's artwork lined the hallways. Colorful handprints and crayon drawings creating a cheerful veneer over the peeling paint. Martha led her to a cramped office and pulled out a large ring of keys. "Director's at lunch. We've got about 40 minutes before she's back. I shouldn't be doing this." "But," she unlocked a filing cabinet. "You always were a good kid. Never gave us trouble." Emma's heart raced as Martha thumbed through folders and finally pulled out a thin one labeled Caldwell. Here you go. Not much to it, I'm afraid." Emma opened the folder with trembling fingers. Inside was a single piece of yellowed paper. The edges worn from handling, written in faded blue ink, were 6 words. "Emma, abandoned, March 16th, 1993. No last name, no birth date, just a date of abandonment that matched perfectly with the disappearance of Clara Davenport. "Martha, do you remember anything about the day I arrived? Anything at all?" Martha sat heavily in her creaky desk chair. "It was a long time ago, honey. Please try." The older woman sighed, rubbing her temples. "It was raining. Bad storm that night. I remember because the power went out and we had to use flashlights to process you in. She closed her eyes, reaching back. A woman brought you, well-dressed. That's all I recall. Emma leaned forward. A woman, not child services. No, private drop-off. Happens sometimes with the wealthy families. Scandal and all that. Martha shrugged. She wore a big hat and sunglasses. Didn't give her name. What else? What was I wearing? Did I have anything with me? Just that note and some basic clothes. Nothing fancy. Nothing to identify you. Martha paused, frowning. Wait, there was something else. An envelope. She said it was to be given to you when you turned 18. But when we went to get it later, it wasn't with your things. Emma's pulse quickened. An envelope. What happened to it? No idea, Ms. Pearson was director back then. Maybe she put it somewhere special and forgot. She wasn't exactly reliable toward the end. The dementia, you know. Martha shook her head. She passed 5 years ago. Emma stared at the meager file. Is there anyone else from that time who might remember more? Anyone at all? Just old Raymond, the groundskeeper. Been here since the dawn of time. Lives in the cottage out back. Outside, Emma found Raymond Gaines pruning rose bushes at 80. His dark skin was creased with age, but his eyes remained sharp. He remembered her immediately. Emma Caldwell, the little girl who always helped me feed the birds. He set his clippers down. What brings you back? I'm trying to find out where I came from. Raymond, Martha said you might remember something about the night I arrived. Raymond's smile faded. That night? Yes. He looked around, then lowered his voice. Follow me. In his small cottage, Raymond pulled out a battered shoebox from beneath his bed. I've kept this, not knowing if you'd ever come back. Inside was a faded photograph of a sunflower. This fell from your blanket when they brought you in, Mrs. Pearson said to throw it away. No personal items allowed for foundlings. Those were the rules. But I couldn't do it. Something about the way that lady looked when she left you. Like her heart was breaking. Emma stared at the sunflower photograph, identical to the ones in the background of Clara Davenport's picture. Her hands shook as she turned it over. Nothing written on the back. The woman who brought me. Do you remember what she looked like? Raymond nodded slowly. Thin, elegant, silver blonde hair, and cold. Cold like a winter day, even though she was dressed for spring. His description matched Victoria Davenport perfectly. Emma slipped the photo into her purse. Thank you, Raymond. You've helped more than you know. As Emma walked back through Charleston's historic district, her mind raced. She had enough to suspect, but not enough to prove anything. She needed help. Professional help. Emma checked her bank balance on her phone, $27.36, $42. Her entire savings, meant for community college classes. It would have to be enough. She found Sam Reeves's detective agency in a dingy office above a pawn shop. The online reviews said he specialized in finding people, missing persons, birth parents, old flames. His rates were reasonable, and more importantly, he had a reputation for discretion. I need to find out who I really am, she told the grizzled ex-cop after explaining her situation. I think I might be Clara Davenport, Reeves whistled. The Davenports. That's big league, lady. Can you help me or not? Emma pushed her bank card across his desk. This is everything I have. Reeves studied her face, then nodded. I'll start with hospital records from March '93. Compare them with your approximate age. Then I'll look into the Davenport case. Newspaper archives, police reports if I can get them. He took her card. I'll only charge what I use. One more thing, Emma said. I need a job at Davenport Mansion, not just catering. Something permanent. Reeves raised an eyebrow. That's risky. It's necessary. Can you help with that too? I know someone in their household staff might be able to get you an interview as a server for their private functions. He scribbled on a notepad. But be careful. If you're right about this, someone went to a lot of trouble to make Clara Davenport disappear, that someone might not be happy to see her come back. The next morning, Emma stood outside Rosie's diner, her phone pressed to her ear. Ms. Caldwell, this is Mrs. Winters from Davenport Estate. We have an opening for a permanent serving position for private functions. Your reference was quite impressive. Can you come in for an interview today? Emma ended the call, her heart racing. She looked at her reflection in the diner window, honey-colored eyes staring back. The small crescent birthmark near her left eyebrow. The same eyes, the same mark as the girl in the sunflower field. "I'm coming," she whispered to her reflection. "Clara Davenport is coming home. The East Wing is off limits unless you're serving there, Mrs. Winters instructed as she led Emma through the labyrinthine corridors of Davenport Mansion. "Mr. Davenport values his privacy. The same goes for Ms. Victoria's quarters in the North Wing." Emma nodded, mentally mapping the sprawling estate, 3 days into her new position as a permanent server for private functions. She'd been assigned to afternoon tea service and evening cocktail preparation. The job gave her access to much of the ground floor, but the family areas remained frustratingly off-limits. "The library is particularly restricted," Mrs. Winters continued, her crisp British accent emphasizing each syllable. The housekeeper was rail-thin with salt and pepper hair pulled into a tight bun. "Mr. Davenport often works there in the afternoons. You'll only enter when summoned." "Of course," Emma replied, keeping her expression neutral despite her disappointment. The library would likely hold family photographs, albums, evidence she desperately needed. "Today you'll assist Sebastian with the silver polishing before the charity board meeting at 4. Any questions?" Emma shook her head, and Mrs. Winters strode off, her sensible shoes clicking against the marble floors. In the service kitchen, Emma found Sebastian Ortiz meticulously polishing ornate silver candlesticks. In his 60s, the Mexican-American butler had served the Davenport family for over 40 years, his position granting him a status above the other household staff. "Ah, the new girl," Sebastian said, not looking up from his work. "Mrs. Winters says you have experience with silver. 3 years at the Charleston Grande Hotel," Emma confirmed. Picking up a polishing cloth, Sebastian finally looked at her, his dark eyes widening almost imperceptibly. He studied her face for a moment longer than comfortable, before returning to his task. "You have a careful touch, good. These pieces are from 1878. Part of Mrs. Eleanor Davenport's family collection." "Eleanor, William's wife?" Emma asked, trying to sound casually curious. Sebastian's hands paused. "Yes, she was a remarkable woman. The house has never been the same since she..." He trailed off, then resumed polishing with renewed vigor. "That was many years ago. I heard there was some kind of tragedy." The butler's expression hardened. "We don't discuss family matters with new staff." His tone made it clear the conversation was over. For the next hour, they worked in silence, Emma's mind racing with ways to access the library. Her opportunity came unexpectedly when Sebastian was called away by Mrs. Winters to handle a delivery issue. "Continue with the serving trays," he instructed before leaving. "I'll return shortly." The moment he left, Emma set down her cloth and slipped out of the service kitchen. The main hallway was empty. Afternoon sunlight streamed through tall windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air, according to the mansion's layout she'd been mentally tracking. The library should be the third door on the right in the east corridor. Emma moved quickly, but calmly, knowing that looking purposeful was the best way to avoid suspicion if seen. The east corridor was lined with oil paintings of stern-faced Davenport ancestors. At the third door, she paused, listening for movement inside. Silence. The door opened soundlessly on well-oiled hinges. Emma slipped inside and closed it behind her. The library was magnificent. 2 stories of floor-to-ceiling bookshelves accessed by a rolling ladder, leather armchairs arranged near a marble fireplace, and a massive mahogany desk positioned before bay windows overlooking the sunflower garden. Emma's breath caught. The sunflowers, just like in the photographs. She had perhaps 15 minutes before Sebastian would notice her absence. Moving swiftly to the desk, she examined the framed photographs arranged precisely on its surface. One showed William Davenport receiving a business award. Another captured him shaking hands with a former president. Then she spotted it, a silver frame partially hidden behind the others. A family portrait. William, much younger and smiling broadly. A beautiful woman with chestnut hair who must be Eleanor. And between them, the little girl from the wallet photograph, Clara. Emma's hands trembled as she lifted the frame. The resemblance between herself and Eleanor was unmistakable. The same high cheekbones, the same slight dimple in the right cheek, and Clara could have been Emma at that age, down to the crescent-shaped birthmark near her left eyebrow. Setting down the photograph, Emma scanned the room for family albums. A glass-fronted cabinet near the fireplace held leather-bound volumes. She opened it carefully and pulled out an album labeled 1989-1994 in elegant handwriting. The pages confirmed what she'd begun to suspect. Clara Davenport's birthday was listed as April 15, 1989, making her exactly Emma's age. Photos documented the girl's early years, her first steps, birthday parties, family vacations. The final photos were dated March 1993, Clara in a field of sunflowers, laughing as she ran through the golden blooms. Emma flipped the page. Nothing. The remaining pages were blank. March 1993, when Clara disappeared. When Emma was left at Greenwood Children's Home, turning back, she examined a photo more closely. On the back, written in the same elegant handwriting, William, Eleanor, and our precious Clara. Sunflower Day, March 10th, 1993, 6 days before Emma was abandoned. The sound of voices in the corridor jolted her from her discovery. Emma quickly returned the album to the cabinet and moved away from the desk. The voices grew louder, one of them unmistakably William Davenport's, panicking. She looked for another exit, but there was only the main door and a small service entrance that was likely locked. The library door opened. Emma froze, heart pounding, as William Davenport entered mid-conversation with a silver-haired woman, Victoria Davenport. Simply cannot continue throwing money at... Victoria stopped abruptly, her ice-blue eyes locking onto Emma. What are you doing in here? Emma's mind raced. I'm so sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Winters asked me to leave fresh flowers, but I see they've already been replaced. She gestured to a vase of lilies on a side table. Praying, her voice sounded steadier than it felt. William stared at her, recognition flickering in his eyes. You're the server from the terrace, the one who... He didn't finish the sentence, but Emma knew he was remembering the dropped tray, the moment their eyes had met over his fallen wallet. Yes, sir. I've joined your permanent staff, Emma Caldwell. She extended her hand without thinking. William hesitated, then shook it. The contact sent a jolt through Emma. This was potentially her father, the man whose blood ran in her veins. Victoria watched the exchange with narrowed eyes. The library is restricted, Miss Caldwell. I suggest you return to your assigned duties immediately. Her voice was honey poured over ice. Of course, Miss Davenport. Again. My apologies. Emma moved toward the door, forcing herself not to rush despite the panic flooding her veins. Miss Caldwell, William called as she reached the threshold. Have we met before? Before the party, I mean. Victoria's head snapped toward her brother, her expression sharpening. I don't believe so. Sir? Emma replied carefully. I've lived in Charleston all my life, though. William nodded slowly. You remind me of someone. Victoria stepped between them, effectively dismissing Emma. William, we have the foundation meeting in 20 minutes. We need to discuss the new scholarship parameters. Emma slipped out, her heart hammering. She'd found what she came for. Confirmation that Clara Davenport and Emma Caldwell shared the same birthday, the same face, the same birthmark. But she'd also exposed herself to Victoria, whose calculating gaze had missed nothing. As she hurried back to the service kitchen, Emma didn't notice the figure watching from the shadows of the corridor, Sebastian, his expression unreadable as he observed her quick retreat from the forbidden library. Emma knew something was wrong the moment she arrived for her morning shift. Mrs. Winters waited in the staff entrance, her thin lips pressed into a bloodless line. Miss Caldwell, follow me. Emma followed the housekeeper to a small office near the kitchen. On the desk lay an antique silver salt cellar, one she'd polished yesterday. Can you explain this? Mrs. Winters pointed to a small dent on its base. It wasn't there when I polished it, Mrs. Winters, I swear. And this? The housekeeper opened a drawer and removed a pair of diamond earrings. Found in your locker during a routine inspection. Emma's stomach dropped. Those aren't mine. I've never seen them before. They belong to Mrs. Victoria, reported missing yesterday afternoon. I didn't take them. The accusation was so absurd, Emma almost laughed. Why would I steal something so easily traced back to me? Mrs. Winters studied her coldly. Perhaps you're not very clever, or perhaps you were interrupted before hiding them properly. She drummed her fingers on the desk. Mr. Davenport has been informed. Emma's heart pounded. And what did he say? He wants to speak with you himself. He's waiting in the garden room. as Emma followed Mrs. Winters through the mansion. Her mind raced. Victoria. It had to be Victoria. Setting her up after catching her in the library. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. The garden room was a glass-enclosed space overlooking the rose garden. William Davenport stood with his back to the door, hands clasped behind him, staring out at the colorful blooms. "Miss Caldwell, sir," Mrs. Winters announced before discreetly withdrawing. William turned. He looked tired, the lines around his eyes deeper than Emma remembered. "Sir, I didn't take those earrings. I'd never—" William held up a hand, silencing her. "I know." Emma blinked. "You know, the security cameras in the upstairs hallway show my sister entering the staff area yesterday evening. She has a history of testing new employees in unorthodox ways." He sighed, rubbing his temple. "I've spoken with her. It won't happen again." Relief flooded through Emma. "Thank you for believing me." William studied her face. "There's something about you, Miss Caldwell. Something familiar that I can't quite place." He gestured to a chair. "Please sit." Emma perched on the edge of an antique armchair, her heart racing. Was this the moment? Should she tell him her suspicions? "Where did you grow up in Charleston?" William asked. "Greenwood Children's Home, sir. I was abandoned as a baby." William's expression flickered. Pain, perhaps, or recognition. "I'm sorry to hear that. Did you ever learn anything about your parents?" "No, sir. Just a note with my first name and the date I was left there." Emma hesitated. "March 16th, 1993. The color drained from William's face. He turned away, staring blindly at the garden. "My daughter disappeared on March 10th, 1993. My wife died in a car accident a week later." "I'm very sorry, sir." William nodded, still not facing her. "Clara would be your age now." His voice sounded hollow. "We never found her, never stopped looking, but—" He trailed off. Emma leaned forward. "Sir, The door opened, and Victoria Davenport swept in, elegant in a tailored navy dress. "William, the board call starts in 5 minutes. We need to discuss the Singapore property before—" She stopped, eyes narrowing at the sight of Emma. "I wasn't aware you were conducting interviews in here." "Not an interview, Victoria. Just clearing up a misunderstanding." William's tone was pointed. Victoria's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Yes. Well, unfortunate about those earrings. Must have been misplaced." She turned to Emma. "I believe Mrs. Winters needs help preparing for lunch service." The dismissal was unmistakable. Emma stood. "Of course. Thank you for your understanding, Mr. Davenport." As she left, she felt Victoria's icy gaze boring into her back. Later that evening, Emma met Sam Reeves at a coffee shop 3 blocks from the mansion. The detective's rumpled appearance belied his sharp eyes. "Found some interesting things," he said, sliding a folder across the table. "Hospital records show 3 babies born on April 15, 1989, at Charleston Memorial. Clara Davenport, Robert Wilson, and Jessica Lee. Robert's in the Navy, stationed in San Diego. Jessica died of leukemia in '97. Emma flipped through the documents. "So I'm either Clara Davenport or someone born outside a hospital. There's more. Police report from March 10th, 1993. Reeves tapped a photocopied document. "According to this, Eleanor Davenport reported her daughter missing around 8 p.m. Nanny had put Clara down for a nap at 2 p.m., checked on her at 4 p.m., and she was gone. No signs of forced entry. Inside job." Reeves nodded. "Police thought so. They questioned all the staff. But the investigation stalled. Then Eleanor died in that car accident a week later. Brake lines cut, according to the mechanic who examined the wreck. But nothing was ever proven. Case was quietly closed a year later." Emma's throat tightened. "Someone took Clara, then killed Eleanor to cover it up. Looks that way. And here's the kicker. Guess who inherited controlling interest in Davenport hotels when Eleanor died?" "Victoria," Emma whispered. "Bingo." William was too grief-stricken to run things. Victoria stepped in. Saved the company from a hostile takeover. Been running it ever since. Emma sat back, stunned. "She took me from my home, abandoned me at an orphanage, killed my mother, and manipulated my father for 30 years. Allegedly," Reeves cautioned. "We'd need DNA to prove you're Clara, and motive isn't evidence." "But you believe me?" Reeves studied her face. "The timing fits. The resemblance to Eleanor Davenport in these old photos is striking, and Victoria Davenport had a lot to gain. He closed the folder. But be careful. If you're right, you're threatening a woman who's already committed murder once. I need more proof, Emma said. Something concrete that places Victoria at Greenwood that night. I'm working on it, tracking down former staff, checking visitor logs if they still exist. Reeves hesitated. In the meantime, watch your back. Emma didn't fully understand his warning until the next night. Walking home from her late shift, the streets of her working-class neighborhood were mostly empty. Somewhere a dog barked. A car with tinted windows crept alongside her for half a block before speeding away. As she turned onto her street, two men stepped from the shadows of an alley. One was tall and lean, the other shorter but muscular. Both wore dark clothing and expressionless faces. Emma Caldwell, the taller one asked. Emma stopped, adrenaline flooding her system. Who wants to know? Someone who thinks you should reconsider your employment. He stepped closer. Nice apartment you have. Be a shame if something happened to it. Or to you, the shorter man smiled, revealing a gold tooth. This is a friendly warning. Stop asking questions. Stop snooping where you don't belong. Find a job somewhere else. And if I don't? Emma's voice was steadier than she felt. The tall man shrugged. Next conversation won't be so friendly. He moved closer, invading her space. Some secrets should stay buried, Miss Caldwell, especially when powerful people want them that way. They brushed past her, deliberately bumping her shoulders. Emma remained frozen until they disappeared around the corner. Her heart hammering against her ribs, she fumbled for her phone with shaking hands and dialed Reeves. They threatened me, she said when he answered. Victoria sent men to threaten me. Where are you now? Almost home. Stay on the line. Lock your doors. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Inside her apartment, Emma double-checked every lock, then sank onto her sofa. For the first time, the reality of what she was doing, what she was up against, hit her full force. Victoria Davenport had money, power, connections. Emma had. What? A detective she could barely afford and suspicions that sounded like a soap opera plot. But she also had the truth. And as she gazed at the photo of the little girl in the sunflower field, her younger self, Emma knew there was no turning back. Victoria Davenport had stolen her life once. She wouldn't let it happen again. Rain lashed against the greenhouse windows, transforming the glass structure into a crystal drum. Emma stood inside, arranging fresh-cut flowers for that evening's dinner party. Despite the threatening encounter 3 nights ago, she'd returned to work, refusing to be intimidated. If Victoria wanted her gone, she'd have to try harder. The lilacs in the blue Chinese vase, instructed Mrs. Winters, hovering nearby. Mr. Davenport prefers them in the dining room. Emma worked methodically. Her mind elsewhere, Reeves had installed a security system in her apartment and was making progress tracking down former Greenwood staff. But concrete proof linking Victoria to her abandonment remained elusive. The greenhouse door opened, and Sebastian entered, shaking raindrops from his umbrella. Mrs. Winters? The florist called. The orchids for tonight's centerpieces are delayed due to flooding on Highway 17. The housekeeper's face pinched with annoyance. Unacceptable. I'll need to call Mr. Hargrove directly. She turned to Emma. Finish these arrangements, then help Sebastian with the silver service. She bustled out, muttering about unreliable vendors. Sebastian watched Emma work for a moment, his dark eyes assessing. You're different from the other staff, he finally said. Emma stiffened. What do you mean? The way you look at things in this house, not with awe or envy, with recognition. He moved closer, lowering his voice. And the way Mr. Davenport looks at you. Like he's seeing a ghost? Emma carefully placed another stem in the vase. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you do. Sebastian's gaze was penetrating. You look exactly like her, you know, Mrs. Eleanor, especially around the eyes. Emma's hand trembled, nearly dropping a delicate spray of baby's breath. Did you know her well? I served this family for 43 years. I knew them all well. His voice softened with memory. Mrs. Eleanor would sing while she gardened. She had a favorite song for Clara, something about sunflowers following the light. You were here when Clara disappeared, Emma said. Abandoning pretense, Sebastian nodded gravely. A terrible day. The entire staff was questioned for hours. Police dogs searched the grounds. Mr. Davenport was frantic. And Victoria, where was she when Clara went missing? A shadow crossed Sebastian's face. Miss Victoria was supposedly in New York on business, returned the next morning when she heard the news. He gave Emma a meaningful look. At least, that's what she told the police. Before Emma could press further, the greenhouse door opened again. William Davenport entered, shaking rain from his overcoat. "Sebastian, I need the Barclay contracts from my study before—" He stopped when he saw Emma. "Miss Caldwell, good morning." "Good morning, sir." Emma lowered her eyes, continuing her work. "Sebastian, the contracts," William prompted. "Right away, sir." The butler gave Emma one last significant glance before leaving. William moved to the windows, watching the rain drum against the glass. "My wife planted those," he said, nodding toward a cluster of pink camellias. "She had a gift with flowers, said they responded to love, not just water and sunlight." Emma smiled. "My foster mother used to say the same thing. She kept a little window box with herbs." "Do you garden, Miss Caldwell?" "Not really, sir. Never had the space. But I've always loved sunflowers." William's expression changed subtly. "Have you seen the sunflower garden yet? It's Eleanor's legacy. She started it when we were first married. I've glimpsed it from the library windows, sir. It looks beautiful, even in this rain." "It was Clara's favorite place." Pain flickered across his face. "We had a wooden swing there, beneath the largest sunflower patch. She would spend hours on it, making up songs about the flowers." He shook his head, as if catching himself sharing too much. "Forgive me. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Please don't apologize, sir." Emma hesitated, then added softly, "Sometimes memories need to breathe." William studied her face. "You're very kind, Miss Caldwell, and strangely easy to talk to." He glanced at his watch. "I should let you get back to work, perhaps. Perhaps you might enjoy visiting the garden when the rain stops. It's at its best this time of year." After he left, Emma finished her arrangements quickly, then slipped out of the greenhouse. The main house was bustling with preparations for the evening's event, providing perfect cover. Instead of heading to the dining room with her completed flower arrangements, she took a detached service corridor that led to the East Wing Gardens. The rain had slowed to a gentle mist by the time Emma stepped onto the gravel path leading to the sunflower garden. Rounded hedges created a natural entrance to an explosion of golden blooms, their heavy heads nodding with raindrops. Despite the overcast sky, the flowers seemed to generate their own light, a sea of small suns. In the center of the garden stood an old wooden swing. Hanging from the branch of a massive oak tree, Emma approached it slowly, her heart pounding. The swing from the photograph, the one where little Clara, where she, had sat surrounded by sunflowers, she ran her fingers along the worn wood, feeling the grooves and notches of age. How many hours had she spent here as a child? What memories lay locked behind the veil of her early years? Emma sat tentatively on the swing, feeling its familiar sway. A strange sensation washed over her. Not quite memory, but something deeper. Muscle memory, perhaps. Her body remembered this motion, this place, even if her mind did not. The rain picked up again, but Emma hardly noticed. Tears mixed with raindrops on her cheeks as she swayed gently back and forth, overwhelmed by a sense of homecoming so powerful it took her breath away. "I thought I might find you here," Emma startled. William Davenport stood at the garden's entrance, an umbrella in hand, watching her with an unreadable expression. "Mr. Davenport, I'm so sorry. I know I shouldn't be here." "It's all right." He approached slowly, as if afraid she might flee. "Something drew you here, didn't it?" Emma couldn't lie. Not in this sacred space. "Yes." William stood beside the swing, rain darkening his silver hair. "When you helped me with my fallen wallet that night, when our eyes met, I felt something I haven't felt in 30 years, a connection I thought was lost forever." His voice broke slightly. "I told myself I was being a foolish old man, that grief was playing tricks on me. And now," Emma whispered, "now I don't know what to believe." He looked at the swing. At her sitting on it. "My daughter loved this swing. It was the last place I saw her happy." A tear slipped down his cheek, indistinguishable from the rain. "Why are you here, Miss Caldwell? What do you want from this family?" The question hung between them. As heavy as the rain-laden sunflower heads, Emma knew this was the moment. To tell him everything. To claim her birthright. To destroy Victoria's careful lies. But the vulnerability in William's eyes stopped her. This man had lost everything 30 years ago. What right did she have to upend his world on suspicion and circumstantial evidence? I don't know, she answered honestly. Sometimes I feel like I'm searching for something I can't name. I understand that feeling. William offered a sad smile. I've been searching too. They fell silent, the rain creating a private cocoon around them. Then William spoke again, his voice barely audible above the downpour. Why do you cry in my sunflower garden, Emma Caldwell? The question pierced her heart. Because I never had a garden like this, she whispered. Never had a father who planted flowers for me. William's eyes widened. For a moment, something sparked in them. Recognition, possibility, hope. But before either could speak again, a sharp voice cut through the rain. William, what on earth are you doing out in this weather? Victoria stood at the garden entrance, her sleek form protected by a black umbrella, her eyes hard as she took in the scene before her. You'll catch your death out here, Victoria said. Her voice clipped as she approached. Her gaze shifted between William and Emma, calculating. And you, Miss Caldwell? Aren't you supposed to be preparing for tonight's dinner party? Emma stood quickly, brushing water from her uniform. Yes, Ms. Davenport. I was just getting lost on your way to the kitchen. Apparently, Victoria's smile was glacial. Perhaps Mrs. Winters needs to provide you with a map of the estate. William frowned. That's unnecessary, Victoria. I invited Miss Caldwell to see the garden. Victoria's perfectly penciled eyebrows arched. Did you? How unusual. She extended her umbrella toward William. The ambassador will be calling in 20 minutes about the Tokyo expansion. We need to be aligned on our proposal. Emma recognized the dismissal. I should get back to work. Thank you for showing me the garden, Mr. Davenport. As she walked away, she felt Victoria's eyes boring into her back. The message was clear. Stay away from William. Stay away from the past. Back in the service corridor, Emma nearly collided with Sebastian. The butler steadied her with a firm hand. Careful, Miss Caldwell. His eyes were knowing. Mrs. Victoria doesn't appreciate staff wandering the grounds during work hours. I was just in the sunflower garden with Mr. Davenport. Sebastian glanced around, then lowered his voice. Meet me at St. Michael's Church after your shift ends tonight, 8 o'clock. There are things you need to know. Before Emma could respond, Sebastian walked away, his back straight as a ruler. The rest of the day passed in a blur of polishing, serving, and avoiding Victoria's watchful gaze. By 7:30, Emma's feet ached, but anticipation overshadowed her fatigue. Sebastian knew something important enough to risk meeting her secretly. St. Michael's Church stood illuminated against the night sky, its white steeple a landmark in Charleston's historic district. Emma climbed the steps, finding the sanctuary empty, except for an elderly woman praying in the front pew, and Sebastian waiting in the shadows near the back. Thank you for coming, he said, his voice hushed in the sacred space. We can speak freely here. Victoria Davenport doesn't attend services, says God is for those who can't help themselves. Emma sat beside him. Why all this secrecy, Sebastian? What do you know? The butler's weathered face was grave. I've served the Davenports since I was 22 years old. Watched William build his empire, marry Eleanor, welcome Clara into the world. He sighed heavily. And I watched Victoria destroy it all. What happened? Victoria was always jealous of Eleanor. The Harrington fortune that came with Eleanor's marriage to William made the Davenport hotels what they are today. But Eleanor insisted her money remain in a trust, one that would pass to Clara upon her 18th birthday. And Victoria wanted that money, Emma said, pieces clicking into place. Sebastian nodded. Victoria had gambling debts, serious ones. Atlantic City, Vegas. She lost millions at the high-stakes tables. William bailed her out twice. But by 1993, he'd had enough, cut her off completely. So she got desperate and dangerous. The week before Clara disappeared, I overheard an argument between Victoria and Eleanor. Victoria wanted a loan from the Harrington Trust. $5 million. Eleanor refused, said the trust was Clara's future, not a safety net for Victoria's addiction. Emma leaned forward. Were you working the day Clara disappeared? I was serving lunch when the nanny discovered Clara missing. The entire house went into chaos, but something always bothered me. Sebastian's eyes narrowed with the memory. Victoria claimed she was in New York that day, but I saw her Mercedes in Charleston that morning, at a gas station near the highway. I didn't say anything to the police because I had no proof, and because I was afraid of Victoria. She has powerful friends, people who can make problems disappear, or create them. Sebastian reached into his jacket and removed a faded envelope. I found this the day after Eleanor died. It was in her desk drawer, locked, but I had the spare key. I should have given it to William. But Victoria was already taking control, monitoring everything, so I hid it, waiting for the right time. The envelope was addressed in elegant handwriting, for Clara, to be opened upon her return. With trembling fingers, Emma opened it and removed a single sheet of cream-colored stationery. My darling Clara, if you're reading this, something has happened to me, but you have found your way home. Never doubt that your father and I searched for you every day. Never doubt that we loved you with every breath. Victoria has taken you. I'm certain of it now. I've found evidence in her rooms, a receipt from Greenwood Children's Home. I'm confronting her tonight after I speak with the private investigator. If I don't return, look for the sunflower locket. I've hidden it where only you would think to look, where you always hid your treasures. It contains proof of Victoria's deception and instructions to access your trust fund. Remember, my sweet girl, sunflowers always find the light, even on the darkest days. All my love. Mama Emma looked up, tears blurring her vision. She knew she was going to expose Victoria, and her brake lines were cut that same night, Sebastian said grimly. The police called it an accident, but I always knew better. Victoria left the house shortly after Eleanor that evening, returned hours later, oddly calm when she should have been frantic with worry over Clara. Does this sunflower locket sound familiar, Mrs.? Eleanor always wore a gold locket with a sunflower engraved on it. Inside was a picture of Clara. After the accident, Victoria claimed it was lost with the body. Emma carefully refolded the letter. Where did Clara hide her treasures? Sebastian smiled sadly. That, I don't know. You were a secretive child, always hiding little things around the estate, shells, pretty rocks, drawings. Sebastian, if this locket exists, if it contains proof Victoria took Clara and killed Eleanor, it would destroy Victoria and restore your rightful place. Sebastian's expression hardened. But be careful. Victoria suspects who you are. I've seen her watching you, studying your resemblance to Eleanor, and now she's seen you bonding with William in the sunflower garden. The men who threatened me, almost certainly her doing. Victoria protects what she believes is hers, by any means necessary. Emma tucked the letter into her pocket. I need to find that locket, and I need to tell William who I really am. Not yet, Sebastian cautioned. William has lost so much. If you approach him with accusations but no proof, Victoria will paint you as an opportunistic con artist. William might want to believe you, but 30 years of Victoria's influence runs deep. Then what should I do? Find the locket. I'll help however I can. Sebastian stood. There's one more thing you should know. Clara's bedroom has been preserved exactly as it was the day she disappeared. William keeps it locked. Only he and I have keys. Sometimes he sits there for hours, looking at her toys, her books. Can you get me in there? It's risky. Victoria has cameras installed throughout the house, supposedly for security, but really to monitor William and the staff. Sebastian checked his watch. I'll try to create an opportunity. In the meantime, watch your back. Victoria won't stop at threats if she believes you're close to the truth. As they parted outside the church, Sebastian gripped Emma's arm. You have your mother's courage, Clara, and you'll need every ounce of it in the days ahead. Emma walked home through Charleston's historic streets, her mind racing. Somewhere in the mansion was a locket containing proof of her identity. Somewhere in her forgotten memories was the knowledge of where she'd hidden her treasures as a child. And somewhere in Victoria Davenport's cold heart was the capacity for murder, a capacity Emma now had ample reason to fear. I have good news and strange news, Sam Reeves said, sliding onto the diner booth seat across from Emma. 3 weeks had passed since Sebastian's revelations, and progress had been frustratingly slow. Victoria had tightened security around the mansion, limiting Emma's movements and keeping William occupied with business trips. "Start with the good," Emma said, pushing aside her half-eaten breakfast. Reeves placed a manila folder on the table. Finally tracked down Judith Pearson's daughter, the one who cleared out her mother's effects when the old director died. Says she found boxes of orphanage paperwork in her mom's attic and was about to trash them when I called. Emma's pulse quickened. "And found this." Reeves extracted a wrinkled receipt, dated March 16, 1993. Donation to Greenwood Children's Home. $10,000. Cash. Signed by V. Davenport. Emma grabbed the paper, staring at the elegant signature. "This is it. This proves Victoria was at Greenwood the day I was abandoned. Gets better? Ms. Pearson's dementia may have been why that envelope for you went missing." He pulled out a sealed envelope, yellowed with age. "Her daughter found this taped to the bottom of a desk drawer. Has your name on it?" The envelope was addressed simply, "For Emma Caldwell, to be opened when found." Emma broke the seal with trembling fingers. Inside was a handwritten letter and a Polaroid photograph. "To whoever cares for this child. Her name is Clara Davenport. She is 4 years old. I am her aunt. But circumstances make it impossible for me to raise her. Her parents are both deceased. Enclosed is a donation to ensure her care. Please change her name for her protection. Her new identity must be kept secret. This child is the heir to a substantial fortune, which she can claim at 18 if she has proper documentation. I will return for her then. Victoria Davenport." Emma stared at the photograph, a snapshot of herself as a child, asleep in what appeared to be a car seat, her face peaceful, unaware her life was being stolen. "She never planned to come back," Emma whispered. "This letter was insurance in case someone recognized me as a Davenport. And look, she claims both my parents were dead." Reeves nodded grimly, already planning to eliminate Eleanor. "This proves she took me, but not that she killed my mother." Emma tucked the letter and photo into her bag. "I still need the locket." "About that strange news," Reeves began, but was interrupted by Emma's phone buzzing. A text from Sebastian, master bedroom empty until 2 p.m. Victoria at charity luncheon, William in New York, key in usual place. "I have to go," Emma said, standing abruptly. "Sebastian's created an opportunity for me to search Clara's room." Reeves grabbed her wrist. "Wait, we found something else. The orphanage records show someone visited you regularly for the first year after you were abandoned. Monthly visits, always on the 15th. Who? They just signed in as EM. But get this, they stopped suddenly in April 1994, right when Greenwood got a new security guard." Emma frowned. "EM could be anyone. Or it could be Eleanor Marston, your mother's maiden name." Reeves's eyes were serious. "What if she didn't die in that accident? What if Victoria just wanted everyone to think she did? That's impossible. There was a funeral, a body. Was there? I checked the coroner's records. The body was badly burned in the car fire. Identification was made through dental records, but the dentist who verified them retired to Belize the following month, bought a pretty expensive villa for a small-town dentist." Emma's mind reeled. "You think Victoria faked my mother's death, that she could still be alive somewhere?" "I think it's a possibility we can't ignore. If Eleanor suspected Victoria took Clara, she might have faked her own death to search for you without Victoria's interference. But she would have told William. Unless she thought he was involved, or unless she feared Victoria would kill him too if he knew." Emma sank back into the booth, overwhelmed. "If you're right, if my mother is alive, it's a long shot," Reeves cautioned, "but worth investigating. I'm tracking hospital records for Jane Does admitted around the time of Eleanor's accident, and checking for anyone using the Marston name in surrounding states." Emma checked the time. "I need to get to the mansion. If the locket exists, it might answer these questions. Be careful. After your last encounter with William in the garden, Victoria's watching you like a hawk." At Davenport Mansion, Emma slipped in through the service entrance. Most of the staff were preparing for a foundation dinner that evening, giving her perfect cover to move through the rarely used corridors of the family wing. She found the spare key exactly where Sebastian had described, behind a loose brick in the old dumbwaiter shaft. Clara's bedroom was at the end of the east hallway, its door unmarked except for a small sunflower painted in the corner. The key turned smoothly in the lock. Emma stepped inside and closed the door quietly behind her. The room was frozen in time. A 4-year-old sanctuary preserved for nearly 3 decades. A canopy bed with a pink ruffled comforter, stuffed animals arranged on pillows, a dollhouse replica of Davenport Mansion, bookshelves filled with children's classics, a rocking horse in the corner. Emma moved through the space in a daze, touching objects that had once been hers. A music box in the shape of a carousel, a child-sized vanity with plastic jewelry scattered across its surface. Nothing triggered specific memories, but everything felt hauntingly familiar. "Where would I have hidden my treasures?" she murmured. She checked obvious places first. Under the mattress, behind books, inside the dollhouse. Nothing. Then she tried to think like a child. What would have seemed like a clever hiding place to a 4-year-old? Her eyes fell on the rocking horse. Sebastian had once mentioned that Clara loved to pretend her rocking horse was galloping through the sunflower fields. Emma approached it, running her hand along its polished wooden surface. The saddle was secured with small leather straps. When she unbuckled them and lifted it, she found a hollow compartment inside the horse's body. Nestled within was a child's treasure trove. Pretty stones, seashells, a blue jay feather, and a small metal box decorated with painted sunflowers. Emma's heart pounded as she opened it. Inside lay a gold locket on a delicate chain. The front was engraved with an intricate sunflower design, with trembling fingers. Emma opened the locket. On one side was a tiny photograph of herself as a baby, cradled in Eleanor's arms. On the other side, unexpectedly, was a small key. Tucked behind the photographs was a tightly folded piece of paper. Emma carefully unfolded it, revealing a note in the same elegant handwriting as Eleanor's letter. "The key opens the blue box in my closet safe. Combination, Clara's birthday. Inside is everything needed to prove Victoria's crimes and secure Clara's inheritance. If you're reading this, I may be gone, but the truth lives on. Find William. Trust Sebastian. Beware Victoria. With eternal love." Eleanor. Emma stared at the key, her mind racing. Eleanor had prepared for the worst, creating this failsafe in case Victoria made her move. But what was in the blue box? And how could she access Eleanor's closet safe with Victoria constantly monitoring the master suite? A soft noise in the hallway made Emma freeze. Footsteps approached, then stopped outside the door. Emma quickly replaced the saddle on the rocking horse, slipping the locket and note into her pocket. The doorknob turned. Emma pressed herself against the wall behind the door as it opened slowly. Sebastian peered in, his expression tense. "Miss Emma," he whispered. "You must leave immediately, Mrs. Winters is looking for you, and Victoria has returned early." "Sebastian, I found it," Emma whispered excitedly, showing him the locket. "There's a safe in Eleanor's closet. I need to—" "Not now," Sebastian interrupted urgently. "Victoria is on her way up here. She knows someone's been in this room. The security system alerted her when the door opened." Emma pocketed the locket. "How do I get out?" "Service stairs, quickly." Sebastian ushered her toward a narrow door partially hidden by a bookcase. "Go down to the kitchen. Act normal. I'll say I was checking the room for the quarterly cleaning." Emma slipped through the door just as Victoria's voice echoed down the hallway. "Sebastian, why is Clara's door open?" Emma didn't wait to hear his response. She descended the narrow stairs quickly. Emerging in the busy kitchen where staff prepared for the evening's event, she grabbed an apron and began chopping vegetables, trying to calm her racing heart. She had the locket. She had proof Victoria had abandoned her at Greenwood, and soon, she would have whatever evidence Eleanor had hidden in that safe. Evidence that might finally bring Victoria to justice and restore Emma to her rightful place as Clara Davenport. Unless, of course, her mother was still alive. The thought sent a shiver of hope through her that was almost too painful to bear. "She knows," Sebastian whispered, cornering Emma in the walk-in pantry later that afternoon. "Victoria questioned me for 20 minutes about why Clara's room was unlocked." "What did you tell her?" Emma asked, arranging canapes on silver trays. "That I was doing a quarterly inspection for moths. She didn't believe me." Sebastian's weathered face was taut with worry. "She's called in extra security for tonight's foundation dinner, and she's moving up the announcement." "What announcement?" "Victoria's selling her controlling interest in Davenport Hotels to an investment group. The deal finalizes next week. She's taking the money and moving to Switzerland." Sebastian lowered his voice further. Once that happens, the company structure changes completely. William loses his position as CEO, and most of the staff will be terminated. Emma nearly dropped the tray. She's cashing out and running. With over $300 million, money that should rightfully be yours. Sebastian glanced toward the pantry entrance. William returns from New York tonight. Victoria's kept him completely in the dark about the sale. She's positioned it as a restructuring that he'll be briefed on at the dinner. I need to get into that safe before she leaves, Emma said. Do you know where it is? In the master closet, behind Eleanor's old evening gowns. But Victoria uses that room now, has for years. What about tonight, during the dinner? Sebastian shook his head. Too risky. Victoria's hired private security. They'll be monitoring all the family quarters. Emma touched the locket hidden beneath her uniform. I can't let her get away with this, Sebastian. Not after everything she's done. Be patient. I'm working on... He broke off as Mrs. Winters appeared in the pantry doorway. Sebastian, Mr. Harrison from security needs to see you immediately. Something about the new camera installations. Mrs. Winters' suspicious gaze shifted to Emma. Miss Caldwell, those trays should have been in the dining room 5 minutes ago. They separated. Sebastian throwing Emma a warning glance over his shoulder. The foundation dinner began at 7. The mansion's grand ballroom transformed into an elegant dining space for Charleston's elite. Emma moved efficiently between the kitchen and service areas. Keeping her head down while scanning the room for Victoria, she spotted her near the main entrance, resplendent in a midnight blue gown, greeting guests with practiced charm. William had arrived from New York looking tired, but managed to smile as he shook hands with board members and benefactors. As coffee and dessert were served, Victoria clinked a spoon against her crystal water glass, calling for attention. Before we discuss this year's scholarship recipients, I have an exciting announcement. Her voice carried through the ballroom. After months of careful negotiation, I'm pleased to share that Davenport Hotels will be entering a new chapter. The Meridian Group has agreed to acquire our controlling interest, bringing fresh capital and global perspective to our beloved family company. Murmurs spread through the crowd. William's smile faltered, confusion evident in his expression. The final papers will be signed next week, Victoria continued smoothly. Ensuring Davenport Hotels remains competitive in the international market, William and I will be transitioning to advisory roles, allowing us to focus on our philanthropic efforts. William's face had gone pale. He clearly hadn't known about this transition. From her position near the service doors, Emma watched the betrayal unfold. Victoria was dismantling William's life's work, and he hadn't even known it was happening. After the dinner concluded and guests departed, Emma lingered in the service corridor, hoping to overhear the inevitable confrontation between William and Victoria. Their raised voices carried from the library. $300 million, without consulting me. William's voice shook with anger. This company has been in our family for generations. The board approved it unanimously, Victoria replied coolly. The hotel industry is changing, William. Either we adapt or we become obsolete. And my advisory role. When exactly were you planning to inform me I was being pushed out of my own company? Don't be dramatic. You'll retain your title and office. The day-to-day operations will simply be handled by more competent hands. The silence that followed was deafening. When William spoke again, his voice was dangerously quiet. This isn't about the company. This is about control. It's always been about control with you, Victoria. Someone had to take control after Eleanor died and you fell apart, Victoria snapped. Someone had to save this family from ruin while you were lost in grief. And now you're selling it all and moving to Switzerland. Don't think I haven't noticed the visa applications on your desk. Another silence. Then Victoria's voice, cold as ice. The deal closes next Friday. I suggest you prepare yourself for the transition. Emma ducked into a storage alcove as Victoria stormed out of the library, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor. Once Victoria had disappeared up the grand staircase, Emma slipped into the darkened library. William stood by the windows, staring out at the night, a glass of whiskey in his hand. Mr. Davenport. He turned, surprised. Miss Caldwell? The dinner service is finished, isn't it? Yes, sir, I was just... Emma hesitated, then decided truth was best. I overheard your conversation with Miss Victoria. I'm sorry about the company. William gave a bitter laugh. Eavesdropping seems to be a talent of yours. Sometimes it's the only way to learn the truth in this house. He studied her for a long moment. You're not like the other staff, are you? There's something about you. He set down his glass. Why are you really here? Emma Caldwell. The moment stretched between them. The perfect opportunity to tell him everything. But Sebastian's warnings echoed in her mind. Without hard evidence, it would be her word against Victoria's. I think you know why, sir, she said softly. I think part of you recognized me the moment we met. William's expression changed, vulnerability replacing suspicion. Who are you? Before Emma could answer, Sebastian burst into the library, his face ashen. Miss Caldwell, you need to leave. Now. His voice was urgent. There are men at the service entrance asking for you. Not police. Private security. They say they have evidence you've been stealing from the estate. William frowned. What is this about, Sebastian? Victoria's latest scheme. Sir, she's trying to frame Miss Caldwell to get her out of the house. Sebastian turned to Emma. They have a warrant to search your apartment, Mrs. Winters already gave them your address. Emma's blood ran cold. The letters, the receipt, everything from Reeves is there. Go out through the garden exit, Sebastian instructed. I'll stall them here. Wait, William interjected. What letters? What's happening? There's no time, sir, Sebastian insisted. If you want to know the truth, meet us at St. Michael's Church tomorrow at noon. Emma hesitated, torn between fleeing and finally revealing everything to William. The decision was made for her when shouts echoed from the main hall. Go! Sebastian pushed her toward the French doors leading to the garden. I'll handle this. Emma slipped out into the night, heart pounding. She took the garden path at a run, making for the service gate that led to a side street. As she rounded a hedge, a powerful flashlight beam caught her directly in the face, momentarily blinding her. Emma Caldwell. A man's voice, unfamiliar and hard. Security. We need you to come with us. As her vision cleared, Emma saw two men blocking her path, the same men who had threatened her in the alley weeks ago. The taller one smiled without warmth. Ms. Davenport wants a word with you. Emma backed away. I haven't done anything wrong. That's not what the silver collection inventory says. The shorter man stepped closer. Several valuable pieces missing, and guess whose fingerprints are all over the display case? Victoria put you up to this, Emma said, continuing to back away. You're not real security. Smart girl. The taller man lunged forward, grabbing for her arm. Emma dodged, but the second man was ready, catching her jacket. Emma twisted free, leaving him holding the empty garment, and sprinted toward the sunflower garden. If she could reach the back gate, she might escape into the neighboring property. The men pursued, their footsteps heavy behind her. Emma weaved through rows of tall sunflowers, their massive heads nodding in the night breeze, creating moving shadows in the moonlight. A sharp pain exploded in her shoulder as she was tackled from behind. Emma hit the ground hard. The breath knocked from her lungs. The taller man pinned her down, his face twisted with effort. Just cooperate, and nobody gets hurt, he grunted. Emma's fingers closed around a fallen tree branch. She swung it with all her strength, catching her attacker on the side of the head. He fell sideways with a curse, scrambling to her feet. Emma ran blindly through the garden. The second man was closing in. She could hear his labored breathing, feel his presence just steps behind. Suddenly, a dark figure stepped from between the sunflowers directly in her path. Miss Caldwell, Victoria Davenport said calmly, I believe it's time we had a private conversation about who you really are. Emma froze as Victoria's two henchmen closed in behind her, trapped between them and Victoria in the moonlit sunflower garden. Escape seemed impossible. You've been quite busy, Victoria said, her voice silky with menace. Breaking into family quarters, manipulating my brother, conspiring with Sebastian. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? I know what you did, Emma replied, fighting to keep her voice steady. I know you took me from my home and abandoned me at Greenwood. I know you killed my mother to cover it up. Victoria's laughter was like shattered glass. My, what an imagination. Is that the story you plan to sell to William? Poor, gullible William. Always so desperate to believe his precious Clara might still be alive. I have proof. Emma's hand moved to her pocket where Eleanor's locket lay hidden. Ah, yes, your proof. The detective's files currently being removed from your apartment. The orphanage records that mysteriously disappeared this afternoon. Victoria stepped closer, moonlight illuminating her cold smile. Whatever you think you have, it's gone. Emma's mind raced. The locket was still safe. But what about Reeves? Had Victoria's men gotten to him too? And Sebastian? What would happen to him after helping her? Why did you do it? Emma asked, playing for time, scanning the garden for any escape route. Was it really just for money? Something flickered in Victoria's eyes. A glimpse of 30 years of justification. You understand nothing. William and Eleanor were destroying the company with their charitable nonsense and expansion delays. The Davenport legacy was mine to protect. By kidnapping a child, by murdering your sister-in-law, by doing what was necessary, Victoria snapped, her composure cracking. Eleanor was going to expose my financial indiscretions. She'd found the transfer records, the loans I'd taken from company accounts. She threatened to tell William everything. So you took her daughter as leverage. Victoria's laugh was hollow. I took you to hurt her, to make her understand what real pain felt like. Her eyes hardened. I only planned to keep you hidden for a few days. But then Eleanor started investigating, found that receipt from Greenwood somehow. And you killed her, Emma finished. She forced my hand. Victoria's voice was chillingly matter-of-fact. The accident was regrettable but necessary. William was so devastated he handed me control of everything, exactly as I needed. Emma felt sick. The casual way Victoria discussed destroying lives. Her life was inhuman. And now, another accident for me. Victoria smiled thinly. Nothing so dramatic. These gentlemen will escort you to a private facility upstate. A lovely mental health retreat, given your history of instability and delusions about being Clara Davenport. Doctors agree you need specialized care. She produced a document from her clutch. I've already secured the commitment papers. As your employer, I'm simply concerned for your welfare. You can't do that. I'll tell everyone the truth. Who would believe you? A disturbed orphan with no family, no connections, versus one of Charleston's most respected businesswomen. Victoria nodded to the men. Take her to the car and search her thoroughly. She may have stolen property on her person. The taller man stepped forward, reaching for Emma's arm. In that instant, a voice rang out from the garden entrance. Victoria, what is going on here? William Davenport stood silhouetted against the mansion lights, Sebastian at his side. Victoria recovered quickly. William, thank goodness you're here. We've caught Miss Caldwell attempting to flee after stealing several pieces from the silver collection. These security consultants were just detaining her until police arrive. William approached slowly, his gaze moving from Victoria to Emma, then to the two men hovering nearby. Is that so? Because Sebastian tells a very different story, something about fake commitment papers and a mental facility. Victoria's eyes flashed dangerously at Sebastian. The butler is confused. Miss Caldwell has been exhibiting concerning behavior. Enough. Victoria. William's voice was steel. I heard everything. I've been standing there. He pointed to the shadows beyond the garden path. For the last 5 minutes. Color drained from Victoria's face. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. William turned to Emma, his expression softening. Sebastian showed me the letter from Eleanor, the one she left in Clara's room. Emma reached into her pocket and withdrew the sunflower locket. I found this too. It belonged to my mother, to Eleanor. William stared at the locket, recognition and pain washing over his features. Eleanor's locket. She never took it off. He looked at Emma, really looked at her, his eyes filling with tears. Clara, DNA will confirm it, Emma said gently. But yes, I'm your daughter. Victoria's composure shattered completely. This is absurd. She's manipulating you, William. She's researched our family, created this elaborate lie. She has your signature on a receipt from Greenwood Children's Home. Sebastian interjected, stepping forward. Dated the day Clara disappeared. And I've given a full statement to police about what I witnessed 30 years ago. Victoria turned on Sebastian with fury. You treacherous... The police are on their way. William interrupted quietly. Not for Emma, Victoria, for you. As if on cue. Police lights flashed at the edge of the property, red and blue sweeping across the sunflower garden. Victoria's security men exchanged glances. then melted into the shadows without a word, abandoning their employer to her fate. "You can't prove anything," Victoria hissed, but panic had replaced confidence in her eyes. "It's been 30 years. There's no statute of limitations on murder," William said, and Eleanor left evidence in a safe only Clara could access. He turned to Emma. "The key." Emma held up the tiny key from the locket. "It opens a box in Eleanor's closet safe. The combination is my birthday." Victoria lunged suddenly, grabbing for the locket. Emma stepped back, but Victoria was faster than she looked, fingers closing around the gold chain. As they struggled, the chain snapped. Victoria clutched the locket triumphantly for one brief moment before William seized her wrist. "It's over, Victoria." His voice was heavy with decades of betrayal. "You took my daughter. You killed my wife. You stole 30 years we should have had together." Police officers appeared at the garden entrance, led by Detective Reeves, sporting a bruised jaw but very much alive. "Victoria Davenport." One officer stepped forward. "We have a warrant for your arrest on suspicion of kidnapping and first-degree murder." Victoria's face contorted with rage as handcuffs were placed on her wrists. "You're making a terrible mistake. Do you know who I am in this town? The connections I have?" No one replied. The police led her away, her threats and protests fading into the night. In the sudden quiet, William turned to Emma, his hands trembling as he reached for her. "Clara, my Clara." Emma moved into his embrace, and 30 years of separation dissolved in tears. William held her as if she might disappear again, his body shaking with silent sobs. "I never stopped looking," he whispered. "Never stopped hoping." "I know," Emma said. "I know now." Sebastian watched from a respectful distance, his own eyes damp. Detective Reeves approached him, notebook in hand. "Hell of a night," Reeves commented. "Victoria's men ransacked Miss Caldwell's apartment, but they missed the important stuff. I'd moved all our evidence to my office safe this morning." "And the other matter?" Sebastian asked quietly. "The visitor at the orphanage?" "Still investigating," Reeves replied in a low voice. "But there's something they should see in that safe box. Something that might change everything." In the center of the sunflower garden, William finally released Emma, holding her at arm's length to study her face. "You have her eyes," he said softly. "Eleanor's eyes. I should have known the moment I saw you." "Part of you did," Emma replied. "Why else would you invite a server to see your private garden? Talk to me about Clara. Show me the sunflowers." William nodded, emotion overwhelming him again. He gestured to the mansion behind them. "We should go inside. There's so much to tell you. So many years to account for." As they walked toward the house, Emma felt a weight lifting. The weight of not knowing, of searching, of being lost. She was Clara Davenport. She had found her father, her home, her truth. Yet one mystery remained, locked in a blue box in Eleanor's safe. One final piece of the puzzle that might change everything again. 6 months later, Emma, now legally Clara Davenport again, stood in the sunflower garden, watching golden blooms track the late afternoon sun. So much had changed since that night Victoria was arrested. The garden remained the same, though. Eternal, steadfast, a reminder of what had been lost and found. "Penny for your thoughts." William approached, 2 glasses of lemonade in hand. Clara accepted one with a smile. "Just thinking about how different everything is. How different I am." William nodded, understanding in his eyes. "You're both, you know, Emma and Clara. All those years at Greenwood shaped you as much as your first 4 years here did. I think that's why I kept the name," she said softly. "Clara Emma Davenport. Both parts of me." After Victoria's arrest, the evidence had mounted quickly. Eleanor's blue box, opened with the tiny key from the locket, had contained detailed records of Victoria's embezzlement, gambling debts, and threatening notes from creditors. It also held a journal documenting Victoria's increasingly erratic behavior and Eleanor's fears for Clara's safety. Most damning was a recorded conversation between Victoria and the mechanic she'd hired to tamper with Eleanor's brakes. Insurance Eleanor had created just days before her death. Sensing the danger Victoria posed, Victoria had confessed to everything during interrogation, perhaps hoping for leniency, perhaps simply unable to maintain the lies any longer. The tale she told was one of jealousy, addiction, and desperation. Now she awaited trial from a cell in the county detention center. Her empire crumbled, her freedom gone. The sale of Davenport hotels had been halted. William had reclaimed his position as CEO, with Clara stepping in as chief operating officer. Her business degree from night school finally put to good use. Together, they had begun reshaping the company, emphasizing the values Eleanor had championed: sustainability, employee welfare, community investment. The board meeting went well today, William said, interrupting her thoughts. Your proposal for employee housing assistance passed unanimously. Clara smiled. Mom would have liked that. She would have loved it. William's voice softened at the mention of Eleanor. She always said a company was only as strong as its people. They sat on the old wooden swing, gently swaying in comfortable silence. The ache of 30 lost years remained. But each day brought new discoveries, new connections. Clara had William's determination, Eleanor's compassion. Her love of early mornings came from William, her tendency to hum while working. From Eleanor, Sebastian continued as head of household. Though now treated more as family than employee, he had become Clara's unofficial historian, filling in the gaps of her early childhood with stories and photographs. Sam Reeves called this morning, William said after a while. He's finished his investigation into those orphanage visits. Clara tensed. This was the one mystery that remained unsolved. The identity of E.M., who had visited her monthly during her first year at Greenwood. And, she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. William took a deep breath. It wasn't Eleanor, Clara. I know we both hoped. But, he squeezed her hand. Reeves tracked down a former nurse from Greenwood. The visitor was Eliza Martinez. She worked as a housekeeper here when you were little. Clara's disappointment was sharp, but expected. The theory that Eleanor might have survived had always been far-fetched, born more from hope than evidence. Eliza loved you, William continued. After you disappeared and Eleanor died, she was devastated. She must have somehow discovered where Victoria had taken you. Why didn't she tell you? Reeves found her in a nursing home in Savannah. Alzheimer's has taken most of her memories, but her daughter remembered Eliza was terrified of Victoria, believed Victoria would hurt you or anyone who tried to help you if the truth came out. Clara nodded slowly. It made sense. Victoria's power and connections would have been intimidating to a housekeeper with no resources. So she visited in secret, made sure I was okay, until Greenwood hired that new security guard. One of Victoria's connections, apparently. Eliza must have feared she'd be recognized and reported. Clara felt tears welling. She cared enough to check on me, to make sure I wasn't alone. You were loved, Clara, even when you didn't know it. William's voice broke slightly. I'm so sorry I didn't find you. I hired detectives, searched for years, but Victoria was always one step ahead, redirecting leads, hiding evidence. It wasn't your fault, Clara said firmly. And we're together now. A comfortable silence fell between them again, broken only by the gentle creaking of the swing and the rustle of sunflowers in the breeze. There's something I've been wanting to show you, William said eventually. I wasn't sure when the time would be right. He reached into his pocket and withdrew a small velvet box. Inside was a ring, a delicate gold band topped with a sunflower design, a yellow diamond at its center. Your mother's, William explained. I gave it to her on our 5th anniversary. She wore it every day alongside her wedding band. Clara touched it reverently. It's beautiful. It's yours now, along with everything else that was hers. Her jewelry, her art collection, her trust fund. Victoria couldn't touch those. The legal protections were too strong. Clara slipped the ring onto her finger. Perfect, as if made for her. I wish I remembered her better. I have flashes sometimes. A laugh, a song, the scent of her perfume, but never a complete memory. You honor her memory every day, William said, in the way you treat people, the way you've forgiven and moved forward without bitterness. He looked at her with pride. You have her strength. From the house, Sebastian appeared, walking toward them across the lawn. Pardon the interruption, but your guests are arriving, Mr. Davenport, Miss Clara. Today marked 6 months since Clara had reclaimed her identity. 6 months that felt like both a lifetime and a heartbeat. To celebrate, William had suggested a garden party with the people who had helped bring the truth to light. Reeves was coming, as was Martha from Greenwood, Raymond the groundskeeper, and several others who had played parts large and small in Clara's journey home. As they walked back toward the house, William pointed to a new addition at the garden's edge, a bronze plaque mounted on a stone base. Clara hadn't noticed it before. "I had it installed this morning," William explained. Clara read the inscription, emotion tightening her throat. "The Eleanor Davenport Memorial Garden. Sunflowers always find the light, even on the darkest days. In loving memory of a mother whose love transcended time, and in celebration of a daughter who found her way home." "It's perfect," Clara whispered, tracing the engraved words. Inside, the mansion had transformed from a mausoleum of memories to a vibrant home again. Clara had redecorated many rooms, blending the Davenport legacy with her own simpler aesthetic. William had moved back into the master suite, no longer haunted by Eleanor's absence now that Clara's presence filled the void of grief. As they entered the grand foyer, Clara paused, looking at her reflection in an ornate mirror. The same honey-colored eyes, the same small crescent birthmark near her left eyebrow, the same face that had stared back at her outside Rosie's diner 6 months ago, yet somehow completely different. "Ready?" William asked, offering his arm. Clara nodded, squeezing his hand. "Ready. Together, father and daughter. Separated for 30 years but bonded by blood and now by choice. Walked into the sunlit room where their new future awaited. Surrounded by people who had helped truth overcome deception. Love, triumph over hate. Outside, the sunflowers turned their faces to the setting sun, just as they had for generations before, and would for generations to come, constant witnesses to the enduring power of a mother's love, a father's hope, and a daughter's journey home.